Hi everybody, in this video series we're going to go in depth with the features in the new iDraw 2.4. It's going to be good. Hi everybody, this is Josh and welcome to another video episode in this series on iDraw. We're looking at the features in iDraw 2.4. Today we're going to be looking at a couple of the new features as well as some features that already existed in iDraw in previous versions, but they're just great to take note of. One of the new ones that is introduced in iDraw 2.4 is slices and layer export. This is a really killer feature. This has also just been recently introduced in Photoshop CC, one of the iterations of Photoshop CC. So it's a really sort of new technology that that any program is doing, and Photoshop has been doing it since CC, I believe. But basically what it does is allows you to create a bunch of things in one document, such as this, and be able to give your layers a name. So with the updated layers panel that we've already looked at, if you haven't seen that video, check it out. It should be in this playlist. So with the updated layers panel, we now have the ability to name in the layers panel all of our, not only layers. Now if I just shrink down this layer, you see all of this stuff is all just in one layer. And so the clarity of the layers panel to me has just been amazing. I usually actually don't use that many layers. The objects themselves are all selectable right from the canvas, as well as from the layers panel. Once you drop it down, it shows you everything in the document, from text layers, text boxes, to every single shape that you have in the document. And so I like to use layers for things that I don't want to be able to touch. So for example, if I'm working on a two-sided flyer, I'll put one side of it all in one layer. So I'll have all of those objects and shapes and text, everything all in one layer. And as long as you are working within that layer, you can't select anything on a different layer until you click on that different layer. So that's how I like to use the layers themselves. The layers panel is much deeper than that. As you see here, I have access to all my groups. I have access to all of my subgroups, groups inside of groups, etc., etc. And I can name all of these things, which makes it so much more clear what I have selected. Let's go ahead and select all of this right here. I'm going to group that. This is going to be the sketch logo. And then I'm going to put a .png right there in the layers panel. That's a file extension. And let's do another one here. Let's select this one, dlogo.png. And maybe another one. How about this one right here? We'll name that .jpg. Okay, cool. So I've given certain layers, in this case, they're grouped objects. So I named the entire group. So every piece and object text that is contained in that group, I've given a file extension in the layers panel. If I go up to here, File, Export Layers, I get this new pop-up dialog that says Export Tagged Layers and Objects. That's what I want to do. I want them to be the layer size. And then I also have a couple options. I can scale them here before I export. So if I want them to be smaller, if I want them to be bigger, I can scale them. I could also export a ×2 image for like Retina displays. So all in one menu command, I could export these tagged layers or objects or groups that I've given file extensions to. And when I click Save, it's going to ask me where I want to put it. I'm going to put them on the desktop, and they are going to be saved with the layer name and the extension that I gave them in the layers panel. So I'm going to hit Export, If I go to my desktop, I should have 3 files here. I've got a PNG, 2 PNGs, and a JPEG. You can view them like so. So you can see that the JPEG has a white background and the PNGs have a transparent background. So I think this is phenomenal, and I'm just going to get rid of those. If I was doing like a whole document of icons or buttons for my website, as I work through these, I can put all my little objects that I want to be together in a little group and put a .png in the layers panel. And once I get to the stage where I want to export, I don't have to go through all of the hassle of, repeating the dialog commands to go, file, export, file, export, file, export, and reselecting all those different things. I can just go to File, Export Layers, and it will export only the tagged layers that I've given file extension names to. Great feature for web designers, graphic designers who like to create these assets all in one document. Say like a set of things, so a set of icon, logo options for a client, etc. So many uses for this that I think really is going to save you a lot of time when you're creating objects and assets and icons and buttons and those types of things. Great new feature. If you're wondering what these big blocks of color are, this is just a kind of bonus tip. There are a number of online tools, web tools. Cooler by Adobe is one that's very popular, and I use that one heavily as well. This one is another great one that I'd like to recommend. It's PALETTON, I think. PALETTON, however you pronounce that. I'll put a link in the description for you. But this is a great way of creating color schemes, palettes for your designs, and I can do a adjacent colors, which would be an analogous color scheme, and I can just move these around and adjust the spacing. I can add in the complementary color. I can move my brightness and saturation in the middle circle here until I get just the colors that I want. So maybe I like that. And go to my color tables, and this gives me the color tables for everything. I think this is so handy. I love that it just gives you all of it right here. So I've got my RGB values, I've got CNYK percentages, I've got my hex numbers for each shade. So I've got my colors, so it doesn't just give me one color, it gives me the color and that color in different shades, which is super handy. And then it gives me the numbers for all of this stuff, which is really great for, again, web developers. It gives me the CNYK as well, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black percentages for those colors, so that I can use those percentages for creating print graphics. I can also just go to the color swatches and grab a PNG file. And if I just click on this largest image here, this one seems to take a little while to load. If I go to a different window and go back to it, it just seems to pop right in. Then I can just copy the image to the clipboard, go back to iDraw, and paste it right in. And then I just like to rotate it so it's vertical. Save myself some space there. And so that's what I've done here to create sort of this palette of colors. And the eyedropper in the little pop-up color menu in iDraw is great, and I've been using it a lot more, especially when you're able to pull in a palette like this. Now you've got specific colors for a logo, an icon, a button, a website, whatever you want to use. So you can really just go in and pick those colors that you want and change them right there. That easy, and you know that you're picking colors that are going to work well together and have a definition, a color definition. I can reproduce this color again and again, because I could go back here and find out exactly what those colors are and export for myself a color list, just like this. And I could do this as HTML. This would be great. I can highlight the hex numbers and just save this to my client folder and have just a really professional looking color table for my client to be able to use and see what I'm referencing, what colors I'm using, both for web on screen and for the CNYK. Great way of just getting your colors right. So that's what I've done, and just being able to copy and paste it right into iDraw, and then use the eyedropper tool to just select those colors and change them on the fly. It's been awesome. So that's how I've chosen the colors here and achieved these results. Okay, what else? Let me see here. Yes. Now, I also said that, let me just grab a piece here and copy it. We'll go over here, just off the canvas. I'll paste it. I said that I would show you how to get to a numerical transform window. And that is under the Modify, Rotate and Transform, and Transform. It's also Command-Shift and T. So Command-Shift-T brings up the Transform dialog. This is new in iDraw 2.4. This is very precise transformation. You can do a move with inches, feet, yards, miles, percentages, rotation, and so you can really specify. You can either type in or choose one of these predefined angles for the rotation. Choose a rotation anchor. So for this example, I'll just choose the bottom right, and then I have the option here. I could hit copy or I could hit OK. OK will just apply the transformation like that. I can undo that. Command-Shift-T, bring up my transform panel again. I could copy it, which will make a new object with that rotation applied. Really cool. So as soon as I do that, it's made a duplicate on top of that object, and it's applied that rotation. Now, here's the two of the features of iDraw 2.4 in one. You've got the transform panel and smart duplicate. So I've made a copy of that from the transform panel, and I've rotated it 15 degrees. Command D is the new smart duplicate shortcut command. And it's going to repeat that transformation with each duplicate I make. So here we go. Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D. Now, to really show you this, I'll start making these some different colors here. There's one. There's one. Here's one. So with a proper shape, you can see this could be a really cool way to create sort of a shutter or a icon, all kinds of things that you could do with having this smart duplicate feature, and really powerful. You can see it's kind of interesting looking. If we get rid of that one, we can kind of go back here and see what we like and what we don't like. Kind of interesting. Looks like something for a hair salon product or something. So there you go. You get the transform panel. Again, modify, rotate, and transform. You got to have something selected. Transform or Command-Shift-T. Get right to it. You can do this with scale, and you can do this with the shear as well. So you can skew it. You can scale it by percentages, inches, feet, yards, miles, and scale it proportionally or not. This is great too because it will also scale your styles and effects if you have this checked. So if you get a stroke on something, you want to keep the ratio of your stroke. So you're designing something kind of small on a business card, but then you want to blow it up and make it really big, but you don't want a 2-point stroke once you make it really large. So this will scale the styles and effects that you have applied on it as well. All right, so I think that's enough features to cover for one video. Again, thank you for watching. Hopefully these are helpful for you if you're using iDraw. If you're not, I again highly recommend it. Get yourself a copy of iDraw, $25, and you can do some amazing graphic work. I'm doing this now. You've been using iDraw for about 5 or 6 months. I absolutely love it. I've been using it with real clients, real work situations, and it's just been performing phenomenally. I have some more tips for you. I really want you to be able to use this to its full potential. So check back for more videos to come. I'll see you in the next video.